Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's web seminar. I'm your moderator, Mike Perkowski with TechTarget. Thanks for joining us for the second in a series of 3 webinars on cloud-based application platforms. Our program today talks about field services applications and the data management elephant. To address this topic, we're fortunate to have as our independent speaker, Wayne Taylor, technology analyst and freelance writer, who began his career at Google, where, among other things, he was involved in tech support for the AdWords team. Wayne's work involved resolving issues affecting both customers and the support team and handling escalations. He later built branded social media applications and automation scripts to help startups better manage their marketing operations. We're fortunate to have Twain with us, so I'm going to turn the program over to him to get started. Twain, the floor is now yours.
Thanks, Mike. So if we take a look at the first slide, we see that there's a bunch of icons of companies that practice field services. And the point of this slide is that field services organizations come in all sizes and shapes. If you look, you'll notice that there's enterprises like GE, Halliburton, Schneider, and Samsung. And there's also startups like HelloTech, Dynamo, and NonLove. All of these companies have field technicians that visit their customer locations and perform services. These organizations could serve B2B clients or B2C customers. Their customers could be located in urban locations or completely in remote locations, like out in the ocean. We also noticed that there's various industries ranging from manufacturing to oil and gas to local services, and even consumer electronics. As you can see, field services spans a wide range of companies, and it's vital to the functioning of many types of organizations. We see some vital stats here about field services. Gartner says that by 2020, 75% of field service organizations with over 50 users will go beyond simplified data collection for their mobile apps. The reason mobile is so important is that field service organizations want to help their technicians to succeed, and mobile plays a key role in that. Not only this, the field services market is expected to grow from $2.5 billion in 2018 to more than $5 billion by 2023. On the next slide, we see a typical work order life cycle for a field services job. It could start as a brand new customer and a brand new sales order, or it could be just the renewal of an existing agreement. It could be a case raised by a customer saying that the product they've got is malfunctioning. But whichever way that this case comes in, an order is created. Now, this could be taken by a call center agent or a dispatcher. A dispatcher may even take the call and then schedule a field service technician for the job. Now, the scheduling is really important. And this is where a dispatcher finds the right technician who's got the skills to perform the task and who's also available around the same location as the customer, and they then schedule a visit. The technician gets a notification on their mobile app and then accepts and proceeds to visit the customer location. The technician would render the service and then either upsell other products and services of the organization if it's needed, or if the job is done, just raise an invoice and get the client's signature. The important thing to note is that this is a complex cycle, as there's numerous people involved at different stages. There could be sales folk, there could be the accounting team, it could be the customer, there could be the call center agent, the dispatcher, and the field technician. And each of these people work with different applications. So because of the number of people involved and the different applications involved, this is a complex process. On the next slide, we look at a typical field services mobile app. Now, if you look at the data points, you'll see that there's numerous data points, and all of this needs to be considered when building a field services mobile app. The dispatcher could be using a web application on a desktop, but they would also need to have that same application mobile capable. And for the field service technician, they would primarily interact with a mobile app as they're out on the field most of the time. And this is where mobility is really important for a field services technician. The data in these applications need to be synced, sometimes one way, sometimes bidirectionally. The data needs to be updated from the dispatcher to the technician, and some data needs to be sent back from the technician to the dispatcher. For the technician, something that's really important with their mobile app is offline storage. We'll talk more about this later, but for now, let's remember that for a field services technician, the mobile app and offline functionality is extremely important. Moving on to the next slide, we take a look at the typical data architecture in a field service organization. We see that there's the front end and the back end of a typical technology stack. The front end consists of web and mobile applications that are used by people in various roles in the organization. The important thing for front end is to be able to develop them quickly and to update them in really short cycles. Even more important than the front end is the back end, because this is where all of the data that powers the front end apps resides. The challenge is that all of this data resides in different places and is often siloed from each other. You've got data in enterprise applications like SAP ERP and Oracle. You also got custom applications. To integrate all the data across these apps, typically enterprises write custom plugins, APIs, and scripts. This is where the bulk of the development time is spent. The priority for a field services organization is to drastically reduce the amount of time spent in data plumbing and data integration. On the next slide, we go beyond the field services app. Now, merely adopting a field services app like ServiceMax or ServiceNow FSM isn't going to solve all of your challenges with data. What's important is to integrate all the data that resides in your enterprise systems. This means integrating data from SAP ERP to Oracle EBS to Salesforce CRM, and all of that back to your FSM application. And this is not an easy task, but it's what's required for field services. On the next slide, we see that data is really important for field services organizations. With big data being complex and hard to handle, data really becomes the elephant in the room. But with the right strategy for data management, this can change. On the next slide, we look at what matters to field service executives. Salesforce says that 45% of field service executives report that their technicians' top frustration is that their current tools are not fast enough. If the apps are not fast enough, it slows down field technicians. For applications to be fast, you need speedy development. That means pushing out applications quickly, not only at the initial creation phase, but especially when there are new features to be launched or when there are security patches or when there's a bug to be fixed. Speed is the top factor when it comes to field services mobile applications. After speed, the next important priority is having access to data on mobile devices, even when they're offline. According to one stat, 27% of field service technicians want access to knowledge bases and customer history data on their mobile devices. As I said earlier, field service technicians often work in remote locations without access to internet. So they need all of this data readily available on their mobile devices, even if they can't connect to a network. For this to happen, it takes offline data storage. And this is what really helps technicians to achieve high first-time fix rates. A technician is able to complete the job in a single visit, in the first visit itself. That's really what a field service technician is after. To enable this robust offline data access is really important for field services. The future of field services is all about artificial intelligence. Gartner says that by 2020, 10% of emergency field services work will be scheduled by AI. And not just scheduling, but even detecting that there's a fault in a customer's machine or equipment is something that can be done by IoT sensors. These sensors, when placed at the customer location, can proactively send updates to the organization about their equipment that's been installed, its health, and its performance. And when this happens, the organization can provide proactive field services. And this requires even the use of algorithms to detect anomalies. When a machine is functioning normally, there's a particular trend in the data. But when it malfunctions, the algorithm should be able to spot the anomaly. This is known as anomaly detection. And this kind of anomaly detection is the future of field services. This is what enables proactive and predictive field services. Now that we've discussed the top priorities for field service organizations, let's look at some of the options. Now you can either give up and you could still be left with the data management elephant. Or the other option is that you can fix it in part, where you focus on enabling offline access, but you're not really focused on improving the speed of development. And that's not good enough either. The other option, and the only viable one, is to adopt a solution that addresses all of these priorities. It's to use a high productivity cloud platform. But what do you look for in a high productivity cloud platform? You need powerful data management that integrates all of the data in your organization. You need a solution that helps you develop faster, create applications faster, and update them in shorter intervals. The solution should also help you to have a robust offline data management functionality. This should include really low latency for data transfer. Finally, you need something that's future-ready, that can enable predictive and proactive field services. And these are some of the things you need to look for in a high-productivity cloud platform. Now let's, on the next slide, talk about options for a high-productivity cloud platform. We're going to look at two options. First, SAP Field Services. Now, this is part of the SAP HANA platform, and it's got good support for mobile devices, including IoT devices. And the best part is it's deeply integrated with SAP ERP. So if your organization depends on SAP ERP a lot, then this could be a great choice for you. The one thing to consider is that it may not be as easy to integrate with data stores outside of SAP. And you may need some additional expertise for that. So that's something to note with SAP Field Services. So it's a great platform if your organization is SAP-centric, but you might want to consider if you rely more on Salesforce or Oracle or any of these other systems. On the next slide, we look at option 2. And this is a platform that I highly recommend. It's Progress Kinvey. It's a high-productivity cloud platform, and it helps to digitize your field services end-to-end. Kinvey enables you to develop applications faster by reducing the amount of boilerplate code that you need to write each time you develop a new application. There are 4 reasons Progress Kinvey stands out as a platform for field services. First, it lets you use your existing talent. You don't need to hire a Salesforce developer or an SAP developer. You can use your existing developer talent because Progress Kinvey supports pretty much any programming language, any framework or library, and any enterprise tool that you already use. Second, Progress Kinvey helps to build mobile applications really fast. It has ready-made application templates that you can use to quickly build front-end applications. Not only this, the back-end data integration, which takes most of the time, is now made easy because of Kinvey's data integration accelerators. They help you to quickly integrate data stores in a matter of minutes. Third, Progress Kinvey enables strong offline functionality on mobile devices. It lets technicians access large quantities of data stored in enterprise systems with sub-second data latency. It lets technicians store all of the required data to complete their job locally on their device. And this really enables high first-time fix rates. And finally, Progress Kinvey is IoT ready. As you start to build out your Internet of Things systems, and as your field services becomes predictive, you need a platform like Progress Kinvey, which has features like anomaly detection built in. So as you look for a capable platform to support your field services, I highly recommend a high productivity cloud platform like Progress Kinvey. To conclude, we've seen that field services is a complex process. The priorities are to develop applications really fast, manage data integration really well, give technicians access to data offline, and to even move on to predictive field services in the future. To enable all of these priorities, you need a high productivity cloud platform like Progress Kinvey. This is the only way to accelerate your field services and tame the data management elephant. And in doing so, will provide outstanding field services to your customers. With that, we come to the end of this webinar. Thank you.
Thanks, Twain. Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our program for today. I want to thank you for joining us, and I do want to again acknowledge and thank Progress Software for the sponsorship of this program. Just a reminder, this is the second in a series of 3 webinars on the topic of cloud-based application platforms. Please make sure you check out the other 2 programs as well. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.